host of the Jamieegenti Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamieegenti Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
So how's everyone out there today? Good? That's good. So before I dive into the Super Bowl stuff, because this is Super Bowl week, I thought honestly when I said this last year, I thought I would be in Vegas, but then again, I didn't get that NFL invitation that most people will get to broadcast live at the Super Bowl. So I didn't get that invitation. But it's okay because I can say this again. I hope to be at the Super Bowl in New Orleans next season. So let's make that happen. We hope. We'll see. All right. But now before I get to my Super Bowl preview, let's dive into some headlines. Let's finish up this NFL headlines real quick because the Cowboys are still looking for a defensive coordinator out there. And as of yesterday, they started to interview Mike Zimmerman. Now, over the last week, I hear guys on the radio, I hear guys on TV talk about, how Mike Zimmerman can make an offense, how Mike Zimmerman can make a defense, how Mike Zimmerman is a hard-nosed, tough coach. Yes, of course, fine. Whatever you make of it, that's fine. Okay? I respect Mike Zimmerman, but he's not my first choice. I would have put him as my first choice. I would have put him there as my first choice. He's not my first choice at all. I will consider him my fourth choice right now. My first choice will be Wink Martindale. His history coaching the Baltimore Ravens defense, and his history getting the best out of players. And then Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is a players type coach. He cares about the players. He cares about the team concept. So those are my first two because I felt like they're fresh. Wink got fired as the Giants defensive coordinator. Don't you think you want to bring him in to get some payback? I'm not saying violence. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about like payback. That, hey, the Giants should have never got rid of me. But yet they went with somebody else. I didn't get along with Brian Daboll, but yet it's like the players resonated. My defense. I think if you put Wink Martindale on this Cowboys defense, I think you'll see the best. Now we may lose a couple of players to free agency, of course, because they're more deserving of the bag, as they say. But I think Wink Martindale, I don't think we'll leave. We won't lose that leverage from our defense that Dan Quinn gave us. And by the way, Dan Quinn was hired by the Commanders, so I'll talk about that in a second. But anyways. I see Wink Martindale has a fresh mind. He just got fired from the Giants. So I don't want him or anybody else to take a season off. Because 9 times out of 10, maybe in season you're looking for a defensive coordinator. You bring Wink Martindale in, and the defense excels. Mike Vrabel. Again, another candidate of mine. I think Mike Vrabel can resonate with players. He loves Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry loves him. And, he's had a lot of great success in Tennessee. I was very surprised they fired him. I was very surprised. Maybe somebody in that office did not know football. That they said, you know what, we need to make a move to get ourselves a proven franchise. A franchise leader. I think Mike Vrabel will be the best bet. sometimes you got to take a step back of coaching the main deal. I take a coordinator job so that you can freshen up your skills, and that way you'll be ready, more ready for for another head coaching job in the NFL. I mean, you put Mike Vrabel, former linebacker, on this defense. You're talking about Michael Parsons being the best, being even the greatest, if not the best if not the greatest right now. Now, Micah is great for his talking, but he's in and out on the field, and sometimes that on the field stuff, you gotta let your play do the talking, then versus you doing the talking all the time as a human being. So, I do think Mike Vrabel fits this defense mold. I don't know what these guys are talking about. Mike Zimmerman. Zimmerman's great, but I don't want an older gentleman guy. I just figured this out this morning. I just found out that Al Harris is almost 50 years old. That's another person. But then again, Al Harris has a player type mindset as Mike Vrabel does. Both guys are not removed off from their playing career. So why not get a guy that is player-minded, can control a locker room? Mike Vrabel and Al Harris can do that. Now, Al Harris is my fifth choice. I thought he was going to be the defensive coordinator at the Commanders, but then again, they went with Joe Witt Jr., which Joe Witt Jr. was like, nah, I had enough of this. Y'all going to play me like this. I have a close relationship with Dan Quinn. I want the big fish. So he got the big fish. So he is now the defensive coordinator in the Commanders. Not sure what they're going to show, but that relationship building with Dan Quinn is going to fit. It's going to fit a lot better than most. And so to me, we lost out on Joe Witt. Joe Witt was like, we can't wait. I can't wait on this. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to see what players are we going to bring in to make our defense look relevant. Like free agency starts for a month from now, and I want to know what type of defense are we running. And I'm glad Joe Witt got that job. I'm glad he got that job. Because I don't think he'll get the defensive corner. I think the Cowboys would have played games with him and others, and him and others, and they'll leave it alone. They will leave it alone until the last minute. Which most teams are like, they have their staff. They're ready to work from day one till the draft. And plus, also, you got the combine coming up, the scouting combine, the pro day. So you're sending guys to the scouting combine and their pro days to make sure they fit apart, to make sure we know what we're going to get if we draft you. That's why you have to set everything in stone right now, because right now is the best time to do it. You know your personnel. That's how you know your coaching personnel. You know what the day-to-day activities is. And then players on the team can come into your office and say, hey, what are we running today? Or what are we going to run for the season? What is my role for this defense or offense, or whatever that may be? So many people have criticized the Cowboys for not attacking early on this, whether it's free agency or coaching hires. You wait to the last minute, and there's no more. You don't wait to the draft or or even before the draft, free agency, or even before free agency, the scouting combine to hire your staff. You may send your defensive coordinator to Indianapolis or wherever the scouting combine is to scout these players, to see what technique they can fit in. If Will McClay or any of his scouting people go to Indianapolis and say, hey, we want this player, but we don't have a defensive coordinator yet, We haven't hired one. That makes Will McClay look like an idiot. It makes him look like an idiot. I can't go anywhere and with this half-ass information. I can't do that. And that's why Joe Witt said yes to the commander's job. That's why Dan Quinn said yes to the commander's job. And honestly, and I was telling Angelo this, I said, you have to draft that quarterback. You have to draft Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, if you want to go look him up, go look him up. Caleb Williams is the number one quarterback in this draft. I talked to someone about this yesterday, and I said that I question Caleb Williams' body language. I question his body language. To me, this season, when they hired Cliff Kingsbury also, I don't know why you hire Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. He has done nothing but get jobs after jobs after jobs. He should have stayed in college because college quarterbacks can resonate his personality. Like, what change does your offense need? All your offense needs is to run the ball. That's what it is. They need to run the ball and be productive in the passing game. And so to me, Commanders fans, and I'm going to close this out on this. I want to see, I don't care. I think y'all got a good hire. You rushed it, but you got a good hire. You have, like I said before, you have Josh Harris. You have Magic. Magic is a 5-time champ, Angelo. You realize that Magic knows what it takes to win. He knows that. Like it's different. NBA and basketball are different. NFL and the NBA are different, right? They're different. Magic knows. That's why they went with Dan Quinn. That's why they said, Joe Witt, you're our defensive coordinator. That's why Cliff Kingsbury, your offensive coordinator. We're going to draft Caleb Williams. We're going to figure out a way to trade with Chicago. Chicago wants Caleb Williams. They don't care for Justin Fields. They care about Caleb Williams. And if today they said, hey, we're going to trade Justin Fields to such and such, Caleb Williams is going to be that's the obvious choice. They don't care for Justin Fields. They care for Caleb Williams and anybody else, anybody else's job. Or you can be the Commanders to say, hey, let's trade with the Bears. We're going to figure out a way to do this. How can we get your number one pick? How? Because we want Caleb Williams. That's it to me. That's how I would do things. But nonetheless, Cowboys fans, we're screwed. We are screwed until forever. Till forever. Till we get our shit right. Now, I'm gonna spend like 2 to 3 minutes on this Pro Bowl stuff. Okay. And then I want to transition to the Super Bowl. Okay, so the Pro Bowl was on Sunday. You know, if you were like me, you didn't watch an ounce of it. Because I get why we celebrate players. I get why players want to have fun. I get it. Okay? Players want to go out there and have fun, right? They want to go out there, hard-fought NFL season. We're going to go out there and have fun. We're going to play half-ass. We're going to be an attraction to fans that showed up. The reason why those fans showed up, all 50,000 of them, is because the players are attraction. Jamar Chase is not going to say no. Keenan Allen's not going to say no. Baker Mayfield's not going to say no to attraction. They're not going to say that. That's why fans were there. They weren't there to watch a football game. They were there for player attraction. At this point in the season, we're in the off. These players are in the off season. They're not in the Super Bowl. They're in the off season playing in a half-ass All-Star game. That they said we don't want pads. We don't want pads. We want to play flag football. You got grown men playing flag football. Does that work? To me, it doesn't. To me, I used to grow up. When I was growing up, I saw pads. I saw helmets and pads on players in the Pro Bowl. I saw one-on-one matchup. One-on-one matches we will never see in the regular season. Or in the playoffs for that matter. We will never see that. You can still laugh and have a good time while you're wearing the helmets and pads, but you're not going to get hurt. Even in flag football, you'll still get hurt. Hamstrings, foot injuries, all that stuff. You will still get hurt in flag football. And you think that's okay? You think removing the helmets in the pads is okay for the NFL to say, you know what? Let's put these players in flags and let's play flag football. I thought it was the worst idea ever, and that's why I don't watch because we're not seeing the best go at it and full on pads and helmets. We're never going to see that. We're going to see the half-assed effort. We're going to see Peyton and Eli take control of their teams. We're definitely going to see players give half-assed effort. We're not going to see anything like that. Times have changed. We're not going to see offensive linemen protect against great defensive linemen. You're going to see offensive linemen play a game of tug of war, kids games, or even moving the chains of football practice. Yes, I know what they're talking about, moving the chains. That's why I wasn't interested in investing. And so to me, if we're going to go through this route of players, we're going to go do this route of players playing what was less gear, less helmets and pads. I will honestly say we need to get rid of the Pro Bowl. We need to get rid of it and let everybody enjoy the offseason. If we want to continue to have this half-assed effort every single year, get rid of it. Because obviously the players don't care. The players don't care that of their hard work, we want to see the best. We want guys to go out the full 60 minutes. Yeah, the full 60 minutes. That's why you don't see NFL legends invest in this game. You saw Ray Lewis. Well, Ray Lewis was on the coaching side, so you think Ray Lewis wanted to be there? I don't think he wanted to be there, but I don't know. But then again, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. The NFL would rather be interested in the Super Bowl than the Pro Bowl. So to me, I will never watch it. I may watch the NBA All-Star game and tell y'all how bad it is because we don't see the best out of the best anymore. The players are not going hard. They're not playing with passion. They're not playing for something. If we had the All-Star game where we were playing for something, we're playing for a bigger pay period, someone else gets less, then players will say, we want the full pads. We want helmets. And we'll go all out. And it goes to my other point of what I'm going to talk about as far as the NBA 65 game rule on my next segment. Because this ties into that. But nonetheless, I don't care for the Pro Bowl. I care about the Super Bowl because I know we're going to get the best. Now, the Super Bowl preview, okay? You got the Chiefs versus the 49ers in Vegas. Sunday on CBS. So, at Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon, if you're a kid, you can go watch the Nickelodeon part where it's Pat Mahomes is getting slimed or George Kittle is in a SpongeBob boat, whatever the antics they'll do. But for this game, I don't think the players will be out of line. I don't think so because they got the kids watching and all that stuff. But then again, what's out of line these days, right? Now, I want to start on the KC side. I want to start with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, he threw 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in the regular season. He's going for his third title in 4 Super Bowls. I said this to people. I said Pat Mahomes will have his third championship before the age of 30. And I think about it all the time. I said, Pat Mahomes, he's gone. This is his 4th Super Bowl appearance. Dak has been to 0. 0. And you're telling me that Pat Mahomes, the guy that had to everybody had an awful season to everybody's standard. And now this quarterback is playing in his 4th Super Bowl, playing for his 3rd title. 3. And people say he's not a dynasty. I'm like, Pat Mahomes is playing for his 3rd title. I'm sorry. That's a dynasty, guys. The concern would be the pass rush. How does San Francisco play the pass rush? Now, Steve Wilkes, defensive coordinator, was like, oh, we were embarrassed. It was pathetic. Like, Steve Wilkes, you called the game against the Lions. You allowed the Lions to have an open field when the Lions would run the football. You allowed the Lions to run the football. If you're talking about your job saving, like Keyshawn said yesterday, I think the person that saved your job was Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. Not Aaron Glenn, I'm sorry. Dan Campbell. And Ben Johnson, who is the offensive coordinator who passed on this job with the Commanders and Seahawks. I thought he was going to get the Commanders job. Another young coach to build his staff. But to me, you would have been on the chopping block right now, Steve. And then you got to convince yourself to get another head coaching job. And by the way, it must be hurtful to go to the best offensive coordinator of all time, Eric Bieniemy, and tell the man to his face, you're fired. To me, that doesn't make any sense. How are you going to go from a guy that was working with quarterbacks, a guy that groomed Pat Mahomes, that Chiefs' offense was averaging 30 points a game during his time there, to a guy that's all about pretty boy? I'm talking about Cliff Kingsbury. But anyways, this Chiefs offense suffered during the season. I think Matt Nagy was their offensive coordinator. They suffered. And I didn't see the spark from Pat Mahomes. I didn't see the spark. And then there was, and when I saw the game against the Raiders beat them on Christmas Day. I saw a lack of focus. I saw distractions all over it. You could blame Taylor Swift, but you're not going to blame Taylor Swift for the Chiefs' struggles during that time. You're going to blame Pat Mahomes and the offensive coordinator for their struggles on offense and how they how they couldn't put the ball in the end zone, how they couldn't torch the Raiders' defense. They didn't. So if you're talking about Pat Mahomes, you score 17 against the Baltimore, then you scored 27 against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, your offense, 26 against the Dolphins. Of course, your offense is in spurts, yes. But Pat, I want you to play with passion. You have a chip on your shoulder. And I'm not talking about the personal stuff. That personal stuff was his father. It's not a distraction for Pat Mahomes. The stuff last season, the stuff was his brother, Jackson Mahomes. It wasn't a distraction for Pat. Or for better yet, his wife. People have been reporting that his wife has been acting out. It's not a distraction for Pat. Pat Mahomes can overcome anything. He knows that. He knows He knows that people are saying stuff about his wife. He knows that his father made a big mistake that can cost him. He knows that his brother last season made a huge mistake that he got a pass on. So to me, Pat Mahomes is not unfazed. He can handle it. And I expect him to handle his business this game. Period. And people use those as a distraction for Pat. His father owes Pat nothing. Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. His father is not going to. His father needs to be responsible for his own mistakes. He made a mistake for the third time. He needs to own it and correct it. Pat Mahomes has nothing to do with that. He is 28 or 29 or whatever old age he is, and he has a family of his own to take care of. He'll take care of his own versus taking care of his father. His father needs to take care of himself. Be accountable for his actions, just like his brother. We need to stop giving people a pass. His brother needs to take care of what he needs to take care of. Period. He's his own man. Pat Mahomes doesn't need to bail him out. He don't need that. He's got his family to do. But anyways, I expect Pat Mahomes to come in and dominate. And I also expect him to run the ball. So Isaiah Pacheco had 205 carries for 935 yards and 7 touchdowns in the regular season. I think if he gets 10 carries in this game, I think it's over for the 49ers. What I saw in that 49ers defense is I saw a team that was tired. I saw a team that you can easily run the ball on, and they'll be asking for air. You can run down their throats. You don't want to be that like the Lions and play in the 49ers games, which the 49ers can deflect the pass. You don't want to play in those games at all, period. So I'm anticipating Pacheco to get at least 10 or more carries and be effective. If he gets around 70 to 80 yards, it's over for the 49ers. Now Travis Kelce, this is a huge one. This is a big one for him. 93 receptions for 984 yards, 5 touchdowns in the regular season. So I do think a linebacker. I don't think anybody from the 49ers linebacker core and also the secondary for the 49ers can match up with Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce will get it his own. Also, he has a chip on his shoulder. Remember, I think a couple of months ago, they were talking about retirement stuff with Travis Kelce. And I'm like, why? Travis Kelce's playing great. Why would he want him hanging up after those rumors circulated? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's balling out. He's the best. Travis Kelce's the best, man. He can do that. And so, to me, if I'm Travis Kelce, I'll say to Travis Kelce, ball out, bro. Ball out. You know Pat Mahomes is your favorite target. And also, I'm looking for one of the receivers to come through too. Marquez Vazquez. Job saving. He saved this job. So I expect them to come through as well. But then again, everybody wants to know if Taylor Swift is going to play a factor in Travis Kelce's success. I don't think she will. What I do think with Travis Kelce, is that with him, I think, let me revert back for a second. Travis Kelce, not Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift has a concert in Japan. It's in Japan. You're telling this woman, fans are telling this woman, you need to be at the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift says, yeah, no problem. So you're at the Grammys, and then you get on a flight to Japan. You're performing. I think it's on Saturday that performance is for them. Then you're saying, hey, you got to take a 17-hour flight to Vegas to watch your man play in the Super Bowl. And I'm like for normal people like myself, that doesn't happen. There's going to be delays. Oh no, for Taylor Swift, there won't be no delays for Taylor Swift. People will throw their bank accounts out and pay for her to be at the Super Bowl so that Travis Kelce can propose to her. If they win, they will pay that money. But yet, it's like Taylor Swift is not like us. Taylor Swift will get there. I just don't know why y'all push the narrative and say, hey, she needs to be there. She's going to be there. Don't worry. Relax. She will be all right. She'll be there. If you ask me, she'll be there. They'll figure out a way. Even after it comes, even if she's like tired, they'll probably tell her to sleep on the plane, be uncomfortable, get to the stadium around game time, and then chill for your man. If they win, then you're not gonna party with Travis Kelce. You're probably gonna go find a hotel to sleep at, and allow Travis to party with his teammates or whoever is in the party. Fans can't convince Taylor Swift to join him in the party. You can't do that. She just performed in Japan. Like that, that's a lot. You gotta have time. You gotta have rest at some point. But no, I don't. But she'll be there. I think she'll be there. If not by game time, by minute of the game, she will arrive, and that's why the tickets have gone up. It's crazy. You don't raise tickets because of one individual. Now, if you raise tickets because of inflation, yes, I can understand that. But you don't raise tickets because of one individual. That's crazy to me. Now, I want to talk about the 49ers a little bit. And I also want to talk about Brock Purdy. So Brock Purdy. Speaking of Dak, Brock Purdy was the last pick of the draft in 2022. Okay? This man should be out of the NFL right now. He should be out because most quarterbacks drafted that low don't ever get a chance to start, or better yet, not even to start, to play in the NFL. And Brock Purdy, you're telling me that quarterback goes into the Super Bowl over Dak and Jalen Hurts? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And Dak and Jalen Hurts should blame themselves for not getting their teams to the Super Bowl. They should blame Mike. They should also blame Mike McCartney and Nick Sirianni for not getting those guys, and for saying, "Hey, we got a championship culture here. We got a championship culture here. Why can't we? Get to where we need to go? We can't do that. Period. We will never get to where we need to go." That's what Dak's saying. And said, as long as I'm the quarterback, we will never get to the NFC Championship game or better yet, the Super Bowl. But yet, it's like we got the last pick in the draft in there over Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. That's who he beat out. Both of those quarterbacks were hurt, and they were not celebrating. Well, they weren't celebrating. Was the offense? Brock Purdy did. Brock Purdy made the plays. I'm not saying Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy wins, I'm not submitting him as a legend, but I am saying he belongs in the NFL. If Brock Purdy, even if he loses, yes, he belongs because of the work he put in. Brock has a chip on his shoulder. He knows how to win. He knows that if I don't have Debo, if I don't have George Kittle on my team, I lose. I don't have anybody else. You can't give me anything. Well, he'll give you stuff in spurts. Juwan Johnson can give you in spurts. Christian McCaffrey can give you something. But like I told y'all, if Brock Purdy does not win without Debo, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey, those guys go off in this game against the Chiefs defense that has been balling out lately. You know, I'm looking at the score outside of Buffalo. They've given up 17 points. Then I will say to y'all, I told y'all, Brock Purdy has a chip. The biggest chip is him, not Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is all right. Pat Mahomes is like, you know, he of course he wants to win every single season. But Brock was like, nah, I was the last pick in my draft. I was the last pick. I beat out Garoppolo and Trey Lance. And here I am for a chance. I'll never be in this situation again. Neither is the Cowboys. Maybe the Eagles. I don't know. Maybe the Commanders. I don't know. We'll see. But it's going to take a lot to beat the San Francisco offense. I'm talking about the Chiefs defense. You don't see the Chiefs defensive coordinator saying we were embarrassed. Now, Steve Wilkes said those things to lit a fire under his guys and said, we got to be better than this. Fred Warner, you got to be better. Dre Greenlaw, you got to be better. Gary Conditionwell, Nick Bosa, you got to be better. Got to be better. Randy Gregory, got to be better. Chris Young, got to be better. Period. In the story. And so, to me, I'm leaning towards the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win this game because of productivity and Pat Mahomes leading the team to a victory. Pat Mahomes using his plays, using his strengths to lead this team to a victory. His strengths are running and throwing and communicating with his receivers. So to me, I like to see that. I like to see them win. So I'm going to choose the Chiefs. ESPN says they're giving the 49ers a 60% chance to win. I'm saying the Chiefs will win because of experience, and Andy Reid knows how to win. Now, the 49ers are not – they're ready for that moment. But there's number one thing I'm concerned about was the 49ers. The 49ers can get in their own way. I look at the Lions game, and I said Brock Purdy is not connecting was the pass rush. They're not. He's not making the plays that he did late in that game. If for some odd reason you can avoid Chris Jones, then do it. I don't think you're avoiding Chris Jones in this game. But what I look at when I look at the edge on defense was the Chiefs is that their secondary is pretty decent. But with the 49ers, you could have the best defense in the league. But the number one thing for the 49ers is consistency on possessions. You got to be consistent. Everybody's healthy on the 49ers. I haven't seen an injury report. Well, I have seen an injury report as of now, as we speak at 1 o'clock. No one's injured. They're probably going to take a few days to practice their scheme and get through the interviews and just focus. Because I know Kyle Shanahan he's a focused, like-minded coach, and players suit. They follow. And so to me, I always like to say that the 49ers have to be consistent, and also the Chiefs' productivity. They got to be productive and not let the outside noise get to them. All right. But I also don't want to be the moment too big for both teams. Even though Usher's coming there at the halftime and all the other stuff before the game, I do want this game to be productive, and I think it will. All right, so I'll give out my score during the week. So, all right, so I have women's basketball I want to talk about first. I have women's basketball. And with women's basketball, I want to talk about this. Women's basketball at UNT. Okay? They played against University of Texas at San Antonio. Karen Aston, the former head coach, she's coaching now at UTSA. I'm not a big Karen Aston fan. But I also don't wish failure on her. I'm not a big fan. I just think her coaching is kind of off for me. But then again, they beat North Texas in this game with physicality in overtime. So I wrote down some things. Here they are. So for this game, I blame Coach Burton. He did not adjust in this game. When they doubled your best player, Colonel, when they threw the house at her, you did not adjust. Period. You did not run set plays to have Colonel at the top of the key or at the free throw line. You did not get her to do that. They threw the house at her. The whole entire house. And you have to make adjustments. Period. You got to make them. If I was them, I would have put Colonel in isolation plays and shoot a jump shot. I know I know the team is not jump shot worthy, but I would have kept them off balance. I would have kept UTSA off balance. And then they got outplayed physically. So their whole entire team, who they threw out there, they were physical with them. But then again, 42 points in the paint they gave up to the Roadrunners. It's a lot of points in the paint. That's too much. In the college game. In the NBA, yes, you can, people score in the paint all the time. Or if you talk about the NBA, a lot of jump shots from the outside. So, 42 points in the paint. We need to fix that. Then he shot 29% from the field. So that's the other concern, is you can't make outside shots. We've been saying this all season long. You cannot make outside shots. And then Colonel was held to 3 points. That's why I said you gotta make her move, not only like at the top of her key to make her shoot a jump shot. You gotta make her move down all over the court to confuse the Roadrunners' defense. The Roadrunners were all man. They played straight man. It's just that we need to put her in plays to make Desiree successful. You wasted a good game by Irina Hardaway. She had 10 points. She had that stretch of 10 points, and it was wasted because you couldn't adjust. You were focusing on one player. You can't focus at this point in time. You can't focus on one player. You got to be able to focus on the entire team. Your star player cannot. If your star player is not producing, you can focus on other players that are. Like Deanna Robinson had 18 points and 9 rebounds as a guard. You can focus on her. I think Lampkin had 15. I think, I'm not sure, but you can focus on other things to maneuver. But they're gonna be tough. But let me give you another tougher game. Tulsa, 79-74. And I'm like, why? To me, why? In Tulsa? In Oklahoma? Tamisha Lampkin had 29 points and 13 rebounds, so she had a good game. Y'all were up at double digits in the second half and into the fourth quarter. And for me, the last 5:03, Tulsa took a timeout. They went on a 22-7 run to end the game. 22-7 run to end the game. So you're telling me that off what they were given, off the timeout they were running a bunch of plays, and you're telling me me personally, that you're telling me you couldn't fix, you couldn't defend, you couldn't call timeouts. It's going to hurt you if you don't call timeout early. It's going to hurt you when a team goes 12-0 and there's no timeout. Get to the tournament and let's see what happens. You got to call your timeouts early. I can understand you having 4 timeouts and you're using them on stupid shit. But yeah, it's like you got to call a timeout early to not only to calm everybody down, to run a set play out of that timeout. You can't call timeouts when a player is on the floor diving for a loose ball and you want possession of that ball. You got to call timeout early, not late in the game when you're down by 3. Well, sorry, when you're down by 5. You don't call that timeout because you can't run a play when you're down by 5 with less than 5 seconds. It's a miracle play. You cannot run miracle plays. That's why I get so confused of what coaching does for a person. I can understand you having success that you are. It's working, yes. But in this game, you have to change it. There's other games you don't have to call a timeout to the fourth quarter. You don't have to. But this game, you could have. You could have called a timeout early when you're not running the plays. Call a timeout. Set everybody down. Get everybody's renewed focus down. And even before that run, you got a technical foul. Jason Bertha, you got a technical foul for I don't know what happened. They never show the plays anymore. Maybe it was something happened. And then They rescued off that. You don't need to apologize for getting a technical foul. Do not apologize. You tell the team, go fix it. I'm motivating y'all. Anytime a coach gets a technical foul, you're motivating. You want to play for that coach because the coach has your back. That's in sports in general. A coach gets ejected from a baseball game, or a coach gets ejected from the sidelines of an NFL game. You're going to play for that coach because you love him or her. And then there was a lot of heartbreaking possessions in the fourth. We kept turning the ball over. We kept putting Lampkin in the elbow plays, and it wasn't working. She was just trying to maneuver her person down the basket. And Lampkin, sometimes you can do that, but sometimes you can't. You're trying to push your way to the paint. You can't do that. Because you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to take a charge. It's going to be an offensive foul and a turnover, and that builds momentum for that other team. You can't do that. If I'm going to run elbow plays, I'm going to have somebody run across the middle of the court to confuse that person, whether they're going to go under the screen or they're going to go over. And sometimes they go over the screen when they're running the elbow plays. That's what you call long curve. They run over the play. Like, confused defenders will go under. Why would you go under when there's two players in the elbow on the elbow? You can't go under that. I already talked about the technical foul. So they went 10. I'm talking about North Texas. Jason Bird got that technical foul. They went a 10-0 run. They had to call timeout. Tulsa did. Tulsa called a timeout to settle their players down. And then the Mean Green couldn't defend Tulsa's offense all game. They couldn't defend them. Even when the Mean Green were up double digits in the second half, they couldn't defend them. They couldn't defend Tulsa. Tulsa was throwing punches left and right. They couldn't defend that. And then this what got me. This what pissed me off the most. Anaya Johnson picked up 5 fouls in less than 4 minutes. Well, sorry, in 4 minutes of play. How? That was the key of the game. Well, that was one of the keys of the game. Because when you pick up fouls like that, there were stupid fouls. You got to be conscious of your fouls. If you foul a lot, it's going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt you. You fouled 4 times. You fouled 5. You fouled out. You didn't think that your fourth foul. You could have said, you know what? I picked up my 4th personal foul. I could have said, you know what? I picked up my 4th personal foul. I picked it up. Okay? I picked up my 4th personal foul. I picked up my 4th personal foul. I'm going to the bench. I come back into the game. I know I have 4 fouls. I can't be aggressive. I can do my best to avoid the officials to not call the foul. But yeah, you were just a fouling machine that game. And to me, if you can't stay on the court, what good use can you be moving forward? We weren't getting anything from the bench. Period. We always get something from Denia Robinson. That's the only player on the bench that North Texas has. But if a team takes her out, what else do you have on your bench as far as scoring? And sometimes they make plays, sometimes, but not all the time. So we got to be able to reinvent our focus on the court. Period. Because these things can be proven as to why we lose the game. but their best player scored 31 points. And we gave up 13 threes. It's a lot of threes. It's a lot of threes. But their next game's not until Saturday. Saturday, they play against SMU, another matchup that they beat by 15 points. And also against FAU, that is next. Actually, that's next Wednesday. That's next Wednesday. So that's Valentine's Day. So they'll play that matchup. And let's see what happens. Now let's talk about some men's basketball on the UNT side. UAB beats North Texas 82-79 in overtime. That was a game that UAB, you played against UAB, I think like 3 times. This is their 5th matchup in the last year. And you beat them in the in NIT. But then you lose to them in the semifinals of the Conference USA tournament last year. And so to me, last season. And so to me, this was revenge. UAB does not have the same players as last year. Neither does the UNT. We lost Tyler Perry. We needed him in this game. Because in this game, Jason Harris had 31 points. He was the only. That game, everybody played well. Everybody, from Aaron Scott, Robert Allen. Well, not Robert Allen, but was C.J. Nolan before he got hurt. He played a lot better. Jason Edwards was the only best player that played well. Now, they fouled a lot in the second half because in the second half, they went 21 out of 24. I'm talking about second half in overtime. That's what UAB went. In the second half in overtime, they went 21 for 24 at the free throw line. They fouled a lot. Okay? They were out of position defensively. They gave up 82 points total. Okay, so it wasn't the best defensive effort out of North Texas. And then Sissoko cannot protect the rim. So if you're talking about protecting the rim, you're talking about protecting the paint moving forward. Sissoko's not that guy. It will start at the guard play. It will start at the guard spot, if you ask me. So in order for you to protect the paint, it starts at the guard spot. So you can't have these little guards get to the paint, pass it off to their big man for a dunk. You can't do that. Or be bullied inside, which North Texas, I have questioned North Texas big man. I have questioned why are they not strong enough to defend against these guys that are bullying against them? Most teams are going to go inside against North Texas because they know that is their weakness. They can't defend the inside the paint. And then Ross Hodge needs to work on the press offense. He needs to find a way to beat the press on offense because numerous times we kept turning the ball over in the backcourt. Numerous times. And I'm like, Ross, we got to work on this. We got to work on this. And then your 17-game home winning streak was snapped. So, what a way to lose at home. You got to protect your house. You got to remember, the tournament is a month away, and it's in Fort Worth, thank God. We want, because the reason being is because these tournaments want bigger venues. Dickies Arena just opened, I think, a few years ago. Is a bigger venue, and I have advocated on this show, and Angelo can vouch for this. I have said in the past that the Dallas Wings of the WNBA should have a location over there, should be playing over there. I have said this. I have said this numerous times. That's what the tournament's going to be for the AAC, both men's and women's. And I hope I go. We'll see. But we got to protect our house. It's a home game next month. I know I'm jumping ahead, but it's the point of protecting your house. And so when you get to so when you get to this game against South Florida, 60-55, another loss. And so overall, North Texas has lost 4 straight games. Overall, you can say a lack of focus. I think it's 3 or 4. It's one of those numbers. You can say 3 or 4. It's 3 straight games. Yeah, it has to be 3 straight games. I'll look at the break. But if we're talking about 4 straight games, if we're talking about right now, we're talking about a team that's unfocused and a team that's not healthy right now. Jason Ayers again had 31 points, but C.J. Nolan and Reuben Jones missed the game due to injuries. So I don't know when those guys can come back. I don't know when. Depth is tested. So if we're going to talk about Reuben and CJ missing a bunch of games from time on, your depth will be tested because your depth is not used to playing these conference games this time of the year. They're not used to doing that. I mean, early on, you can give them some minutes of playing time and all that stuff. Early on, you did that. But when you're blowing out teams by 20 to 30 points, you gave those players time. But now, unlike most other seasons in the Grant McCausland era, your depth is tested. You might have to go way deeper in the bench to find some offense. Because right now, you don't have the offense. You have one player that's scoring 30-plus points. One. Y'all need to find it. Y'all have defensive players that can make plays. Y'all can do that. Y'all can make plays all around. But yeah, it's like when you can't make plays anymore. But it's like when you lose your point guard and you lose the other guy, you lose your 2 guard as well. You gotta go deep in the bench. You gotta give guys more time than usual. And also, I don't appreciate guys fouling a lot because Ross Hodge is not that type of guy, or that North Texas organization is not the type of guy that wants to play the lesser guys. And I'm telling you, Ross Hodge, maybe it's time to play those lesser guys right now, considering the fact of where you are right now in the conference play. It's time. Give them some runs so that when they do come back, hopefully it's not more than a week, then you can insert them into the starting lineup. Not all is lost. See, let me finish this, and then I'll finish this with my final point. You see, North Texas shot 39% this game. Not too bad. They weren't great possessions in the half court, so it was a little off. The team is undermatched in shows. So the team is they can't match with these other teams' physicality. They have played in the AAC longer than North Texas has. Jason Ayers once again scored 31 points. But this is what you have this week. So you finish that game on Saturday, right? Sunday you don't practice. Monday, yesterday you may have practice. Tuesday, practice today. Wednesday, shoot around. But also today is travel day. So today you're traveling to Tulsa. That's the next opponent. That's tomorrow night. So you had 3 days off in between games to get right. I know it's not a lot of time. I know you don't put timeline on players. But it's not. But yet, it's like, I don't know. Then everyone's taking a day-by-day process. So in this case for me, I'm looking at Reuben Jones and C.J. Nolan as a day-to-day process to get right. And honestly, it starts with them. The trainer or whoever is doing their injuries, the trainer can lay out a plan to say, you can come back by this game. You can come back by that game. And if you execute it right, then you're ready to play. Now you got SMU after that game. Okay, that is on the Super Bowl Sunday. That is a 2:00 start, Super Bowl Sunday at SMU. But you're not far from home because you're not gonna leave those guys at home. You don't take those guys to Oklahoma with you on today and tomorrow. They'll be on the bench tomorrow. But also, you'll come back. I think you come back the same night. You sleep in. You probably may get a light practice in tomorrow night. And then Friday practice, Saturday practice, and then Sunday. It's just a 45-minute drive to SMU. Not too shabby. You know, I'm just looking. I'm basing off my experience as being a student athlete versus my previous experience as a student athlete. I'm basing it off that experience. So I don't. So if it were me, if I was doing this thing, allegedly, if I was doing this thing, I'm predicting. I'm saying a week's time is enough time that we can give those guys time to come back. But then again, I don't know how severe their injuries are. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get in that trainer's room to say, hey, it's going to be tough at all. It's going to be tough to have those trainers' rooms. It's going to be tough to say, you know what? It's going to be tough to get right. So now, I want the best for North Texas. I want the best North Texas round. I want that best. So we'll see what happens. And hopefully North Texas gets out of this slump because right now it's slipping. It's slipping. You can easily go under 500 in this thing. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go under 500 in this conference. You don't want to do that because if we're saying under 500 in the month of February, then we will say that they'll play first in that first game of the tournament. We don't want that. So, nonetheless, we'll see what happens, guys. Now, let me say this, and then we'll go to break and we'll come back. About Longhorns basketball. And I'm talking about the women's side first. So let me talk about that. This is my own personal opinion. I didn't write anything down. Okay, I did not write anything down. Okay, so Texas Longhorns women's, they beat Baylor and also they beat K-State. Oh, in the next few weeks, I will talk about this game along with TCU stuff and other Big 12 stuff as well because I'm going to bring that all together to give y'all a preview of what I think as far as this game goes. These games go. So I will bring you that when the tournament starts for these teams on the men's and women's side. We're going to talk about the AAC. We're going to talk about the Big 12, all its entirety, from women's, men's, all that stuff. So Longhorns basketball, you have a chance to win the Big 12. There's no Baylor, K-State, and maybe you can throw Oklahoma in there as well. Y'all have your work cut out for them, but I do think Texas women's basketball is the best team in the Big 12. Just ask Baylor. So I want to dive deeper into that game, and I will do that ASAP, and I'll give y'all my thoughts about it because there's much to be said about Longhorns women's basketball and Longhorns men's basketball. Only because I love Vic Schaefer. I love him to death. We will never get another coach like Vic or Don or Gino. We gotta appreciate the coaches those coaches right now because in the future we will never get that type of coaching. And I mean that. And I mean that period. And in college basketball, college football state. So, that's it. So I gave you my Super Bowl picks. I said, well, I'm always going to say KC. I've been wrong before, but I also give you my prediction on North Texas basketball. Uh, for the women's, it's not a crucial week. It's more of a reset week. We got to get back to what was working in January. What worked in January that said we went 7-1? We're not far off. We're tied for first place. We're fine. I saw something yesterday that I need to address to Jason Burton. Jason, if you ever pull up this podcast, you need to. I can understand fans of the women's basketball team frustrated. I love that you're taking accountability for the UTSA loss. I'm blaming you for that loss. I'm not necessarily blaming you for that Tulsa loss. Tulsa, that's on the players. That's on the players. But other people want to blame you. I'm not blaming you for that loss. I'm blaming you for the UTSA loss. I thought we weren't ready. But also, I don't want you to explain on social media that y'all will recover. I told him that. I told him that in the comments. I said, I don't want you to explain. We don't need an explanation. What is needed is a reset. That's why they gave you 6 days off between games. You need to reset. Period. Get back to what was working in January and fix it. We're not in panic mode. Now, if you lose the next 2 games, then yes, it's panicking because you're in first place and you have lost 2 more games. That's when we panic. I'm not panicking now. I'm just saying reset. Go back to what was working in January and go from there. And let's see what happens. Let's see what team we'll see come Saturday. All right, guys. That's it. Coming up next, let's talk about the WNBA. Everybody in the WNBA is making moves. From super team to owning their team. It's a lot. To the NBAs, unfortunately, the 65-game rule. Let's talk about all that next. It's Fishbowl Radio's Beyond the Game.
Shit, but I'm cold every season. Know he got that pipe, let him bust it till it's leak. Yeah, booty like a pillow, he can use it while he sleeping. Look, don't be going through my phone, cause that's the old me. Ain't the only one tryna be my one and only. Real thick, moving slow, that body like codeine. He a player, but for making it, cutting the whole team. That body, looking nice. I got cake and I know he wanna slice. I wish a nigga would try to put me on ice. I ain't never had to chase dick in my life. I want that nasty, that freaky stuff. Live under my bed and keep me up. That Hansel and Gretel, let him eat me up. Baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. Ooh, baby, we can go fast. I'll drive and you just lay back. I got the flavor, the last, yeah, the sweetest pie. I might take you home with us. I might give you all of it. Come get your dose of the sweetest pie. Ooh, this the ride of your life. Hold on, cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. You got me hungry. toes curling like they throwing gang signs on crib. One thing about me, I ain't taking no shit. He will. I know it's pissing off his old bitch. Caesar, Milan, I got his ass trained. Try to let a dog know who really running things. You've never been to heaven, have you? Ooh, it's the ride of your life. Hold on, cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. Ooh, baby, we can go fast. I'll drive and you just lay back. I got the flavor, the last, yeah, the sweetest pie. I might take you home with us. I might give you all of it. Come get your toes up. The sweetest pie. Ooh, it's the ride of your life. Hold on, cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. Real hot girl shit. Me and Dua Lipa finna get the party lit. Just give you a They say he likes a good time. He comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but a little bit older, a black leather jacket, a bad reputation, insatiable habits. He was on to me, one look and I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I said if he kissed me, I might let it happen. I swear on my life that I've been a good girl. Tonight I don't wanna be hurt. They say he likes a good time. He comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but
Look, I'm the type to make a turn on the daddy. The baby, make her forget what she learned from her dad. I don't be tripping on this shawty, I let her do whatever she please. I don't be kissing on this shawty, she don't be kissing on me. She came with you and left with me, I went up a point, let's call it even. Don't like the car, she ain't gonna end up buying her a new beam. That girl know what she wants, she make me take it off if she see me. She say I make her wet whenever my face pop up on TV. I had to say no disrespect, gotta do it safer, you can keep it. Pop star, I'm fresh about the trap and I'm going Bieber. She know I'ma call away, she can drop a pin and I come meet her. Stand next to me, you gon' end up catching a fever. I'm hot.
I swear on my life that I've been a good girl. Tonight I don't wanna be hurt. They say he likes a good time. He comes alive at midnight. Every night. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but he comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. What you do, made a move, could've made a move. If I knew I'd be with you, it's too late to pursue. I bite my tongue, it's a bad habit. Kinda mad that I didn't take a stab at it. Thought you were too good for me, my dear. Never gave you time of day, my dear. It's okay, things happen for reasons that I think are sure. Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me.
at your tongue like my bad habit. Would you mind if I tried to make a pass at it? Now you're not too good for me, my dear. Funny you come back to me, my dear. It's okay, things happen for reasons that I can't ignore, yeah. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew you wanted me. You can't surprise a Gemini. I'm everywhere, I'm cross-sighted. Now that you're back, I can decide if I decide if you're invited. You always knew the way to wow me. Go round, get tongue-tied. I turn it on, I make it rowdy. Then carry on, but I'm not hiding. You grabbing me hard, cause you know what you found is biscuits, is gravy, right?
Welcome back to the Beyond Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie again. So, now a lot has happened in the free agency of the NBA. I'm not sure of the NBA, WNBA. This is why I always want to talk about the WNBA. Okay, there's been a lot of super teams out there that are saying, you know what, we want to be on this team to make ourselves look great, right? So let me give you a full rundown of what's happened over the last week, and let's talk about it. So, Mariah Jefferson got traded to the Sun. Rebecca Allen goes to the Mercury. Okay? All right. Oh, no, sorry. Mariah Jefferson goes to the Sun. Lindsay Allen goes to the Mercury. I'm sorry. Katie Lou Sampson signs with the Indiana Fever, so that's another shooter that they need on the roster because Indiana was lacking shooting. Nneka finally yesterday said she's signing with the Storm. Now, before I finish this off, because I have some thoughts about this, so let me finish this off real quick. Shanae, her sister, could follow as well. Now, again, let me finish on this. Natasha Cloud signed with the Mercury, okay? Again, there's something major news happened this morning, so let me try to wrap my mind around this. The Sparks, they traded Jordan Canada for Ari McDonald. So the Sparks get Ari McDonald and picks, obviously. The number 8 pick. So the Sparks get Ari McDonald and number 8. So obviously, you think that number 8 pick, they'll use it on Angel Reese. They want to build around Angel Reese. So now, if I'm the Sparks, I go for Angel Reese. I want to build a team around her. I'll be too stupid not to. Okay. Jordan Canada, Tina Charles. Tina Charles has not played since 2022. She took the year 2023 off. And then you got Ariel Powers to Atlanta Dream. So again, Tina Charles has not played since 2022. Ariel Powers has said to us for the last six to 7 months, I want out of Minnesota. If I'm not getting playing time in Minnesota, I want out. She signs a year contract in Atlanta. Okay. The biggest news is Skylar Diggins last week. She goes to the Storm after not playing last season with the Mercury due to the drama. I can't imagine going back to Phoenix and dealing with that. I'm interested in that matchup. I'm interested, but let me finish this off and then I'll give you my points. Then you got Rachel Burnham. Shout out to Rachel Banham. She actually put a heart emoji on my comment the other day. She looked nice. She looked great in what she was wearing. She put a heart, and I gave her a little nice compliment. She put a heart emoji on it, and I say this because I never had an athlete put a thumbs up or a real athlete put a thumbs up or a heart emoji on any of my comments that I said to them, and she's the first one. So I want to give her flowers and all that stuff. Courtney Williams signs with the Lynx, Minnesota Lynx. So this is a 2-year deal for her, coming from Chicago. Okay, she provides shooting and leadership. Jacquel Jones and Brown Sir, this is huge now. They re-signed with the Liberty, so they keep them for another year or two to keep the core consistent. I thought they'll do a little bit more. I thought, maybe adding NECA would have been great. She was in New York, but I think adding NECA would have been awesome. Kia Stokes, Sydney Colson, and Megan Gafosison, all was the aces. Resign, all was the aces. No brainer. But Megan Gafosison is a big one for me. I thought in Spurs she played well. I thought, for the Phoenix Mercury when they were completely out of it, they played well. And then, Megan goes to this team. I thought she'll have a bigger role with the Aces than the Mercury, than she ever had with the Mercury. And then my Dallas Wings, which I may talk to them soon enough, is Kalani Brown and Satu Sabali are signing with the Dallas Wings. Now, Satu, I saw her comments. I didn't listen to what she said, but I saw her comments, and I said, we have unfinished business here. In Dallas? You said this last week, Satu. You were, like I said to people, you were in the possession away beating the Aces. You had Asia Wilson on lock, to the point where they had to go and sign Megan Gafosison for that. And you're saying that we have unfinished business. You're saying that to me. You're saying we want to win a championship in Dallas. Okay, yeah, fine. Win a championship in Dallas, but make sure that they don't give you a 1-year contract every single year when you're 25 or 26 years old, when you're on the rise. You are on the rise, woman. You should deserve more than that. Unfinished. For what? The Storm have just re-upped. The Aces have re-upped. The Mercury have re-upped. Everybody in the league has re-upped their teams. Everybody. Ask her again about what she has said about resigning with Dallas. Ask her about that. I want to know what she has said today. Because today, this morning, I woke up to Kalani Cooper traded to the Mercury. The Sky has said we want to rebuild. We want to rebuild with young players. We want Teresa Weatherspoon to coach young players. We want that. So, this is what the Sky did. The Sky traded Kalani Cooper to the Mercury, their last remaining player of the 2021 championship team, to the Mercury for picks and players. The players being who is play? Brianna Turner and who else? I have and Mikel Honore. Okay, so the picks doesn't even matter about the picks. They're next year picks. They're years future picks. We don't care about that. What we care about is Kalani Cooper, the last player and this is news to me because she's going to the Mercury to play with Taurasi, to play with Brittany Griner, to play with Sophie Cunningham. And then, on top of that, you sign Natasha Cloud. And then also, who else? You got Lindsay Allen. So there you go. You got Diana Taurasi has help. She has help. She has 2 point guards. She has another one that can shoot. And then also, they're high in the draft. They could have gotten number 1. Oh my. The Mercury are back in business. They are back. Again, these teams don't want to rebuild for longer. They want it now. They want to do it now. Like the Cowboys, they don't want shit right now. The WNBA players, they want it now. But then again, you can say, hey, the Sky said, not only that, Diamond DeShields is back in Chicago. Now, she didn't work out in Dallas because she was hurt all game long. She was hurt. Okay? She goes back to Chicago. Chicago says, I want to rebuild. Also, this was huge. This was big. But I will say this. The Sun got back DeWanna Bonner and Brianna Jones. They got those players back. And I'm like, and then when I saw DeWanna Bonner in free agency, I said, there's no way DeWanna Bonner is going to leave her wife in Connecticut. There's no way to go play with Phoenix or go play with New York. There's no way that's going to happen. And I don't know why they gave that a thought. I don't know why people will say, hey, DeWanna Bonner wants to leave her wife to go play in another city. That's not happening. If that were to happen, then don't you think that Alyssa Thomas would want to trade to play with her wife too? Don't you want that too? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you want to? Why your wife is playing in another city, and then on top of that, you got to play against her. Whoever controls the household, it will make a great storyline. But in WNBA, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't. They don't have enough teams, and also DeWanna Bonner at her stage of her career, she saved the Sun. The Sun do not make the playoffs without her presence. They don't make the playoffs. And so, to re-up them, you get Bonner back, you get Jones back. You probably sign one other player. And then the rest is good. And I want to ask her a question. I want to ask our guest, Sports Talk with a Z. She was here in May of last year. I want to ask her, what are you concerned? Are you concerned? Are you concerned that this team is moving backwards? Are you concerned? Because I'm looking at all these teams from the Storm. I want to talk about them right now. Skylar Diggins-Smith sits out 1 year due to pregnancy, right? Yes, fine. But the year before that, she's with the Mercury, and she hates Phoenix. She hates Taurasi. They hate her guts. That was the end. Okay? That was the end. Skylar did not even want to be in the same gym with Taurasi. That's why she sat out. That's why you got lame-ass GMs making excuses for players that don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. Just keep it under wraps. You don't have to tell the media everything of why this player has not shown up. You got to play with what you have. In this case, the process. In this case, during the season, Nikki Blue was not given the opportunity to save her job, the one that she built. They kept asking questions about where's Skylar. Like, who cares? Skylar controls what Skylar does. Period. In the story. And that's why she's with the Storm. So, Seattle, you got help, Juloy. You got help now. You went from a team that was, okay, we can draft first in the draft. We can go draft number 1 in the draft. we can draft number 1. But now, we are here. And I don't know, I can't remember what order Seattle has in the draft. It's pretty much high. You might as well tell that player, you can sit on the bench. You can sit on the bench. Because NECA started. NECA's there. Drew Lloyd, like I mentioned, is there. Gabby Williams with the drama. I don't think she's playing. I don't think she's there. They traded Kia Nurse to open cap space for NECA. I don't know if they knew they were going to sign her, but I don't know. But I'm looking at their roster now. I want to pull up their roster. I'm looking at their roster now. You got Skylar on that team. You got Skylar now. Jordan Holmes played well in spurts. Jordan Horsett is going to grow. Ezzy McIntyre has grown. Are you telling me that Ezzy sits on the bench in favor of NECA? No. I think Ezzy is going to be your center, and NECA is going to play your power forward. Again, there's no back seat. Ezzy is going to be the best player on that. The third best player on that team outside of Jewel and NECA. Skylar is going to run the show. Okay? And then you got Jade Melbourne, the 22-year-old woman. Then you got Mercedes Well, you got Samuel Walker. That's the roster as of today. Now they can go add another player in the draft, okay? Or free agency is still going on. Maybe they can add another wing player. Or maybe they're set. They move Pokey Chapman to the front office. And sometimes the front office is not a bad thing. They move you to the front. You don't get fired. You're fired from coaching. Maybe Nicole Quinn wanted somebody else. And those are tough moves to ask for someone to do. Those are tougher moves than most. So, to me, this is the era that we're living in. There's a bunch of super teams. There's a bunch of super teams in the league right now. The Storm have made moves. The Atlanta Dream have made moves. The New York Liberty have made moves to keep their players. The Aces upgraded one player. Maybe they can add another player. So you got 4 teams out of 12 that have made convincing moves to enhance their roster for success in the future and beyond. This is what happens when the WNBA only has 12 teams. This is what happens, right? And I'm interested to watch. I'm interested to talk about it. Because you know why? And I'm not disrespecting Dallas. I think Dallas has a good team. Dallas has always had a good team. It's just too much. And I think a way we have to figure out a way Dallas gets involved. We got to figure out a way Dallas beats these teams that I mentioned. Because again, the Sun re-ups. I can't forget the Sun. The Sun re-ups. So that's 16 out of 12 that have re-ups. We're still waiting on El Deladon. We're still waiting on her. Now, to me, El Deladon has to say, we can play. It's her decision. Can we play with what we have? Can we play past 2025? That's my prediction. Can we play past 2025? Because L is good for 1 year, for 2024. I don't know if 2025 is an issue. But 1 year, if someone can give her that contract, then you can say, if it's in Dallas, I'm not going to say no to Dallas. El Deladon can fit on this team. It would just be another super team that we have to talk about. If El Deladon says, hey, I want to play for a championship in Dallas, then yeah, we can sign her. Or if we can play on the Aces, then we can sign her. El Deladon is looking for teams that are contending right now. The teams that want to contend in 2024. They're not waiting for 2025 or a new team for that matter. They're not waiting for that. I don't think L can be your face of a new team. I think other players can. And then, also, I can't forget Khalil Copper, 7. So 7 out of 12 teams. that re-up their roster, that are saying to themselves, we want to be in the postseason. 7 teams. Now, it could change in the next 2 months. The draft is coming along. These players, these college players are playing in the NCAA tournament. They may shine. Caitlin Clark has something to say about that. And then also, you can't forget about the other players. What else does Seattle need? What else does the Atlanta Dream need? What else does the Sparks? It's no-brainer that you took Atlanta's number 8 pick away to get your own pick, and then that pick is for Angel Reese, because you can build around Angel Reese. It'll take years to do that, but maybe a year or two. But yeah, Angel Reese wants to win now. She wants to win now. Her mindset would change from this LSU nonsense to being a pro athlete that wants to win. I got my share. I got my shine. Now I want to bring a championship to the city of LA. But these teams, I want to figure out where Elle Deldon's going to go in the next week or two. Also, Candace Parker, does she hang it up? It looks like Candace Parker to me. I'm looking at her on TV. To me, she looks comfortable. I'm not saying she should retire. I'm saying that get healthy first. You missed the portion of the season with your foot injury. You had surgery. You're doing an excellent job on TV. I want to see you play. I don't want to see another great retire from us. I don't want that, because I think we're in a better. I think the WNBA is a great place, but I don't see myself seeing Candace Parker going back to the Aces, considering the fact that they already re-signed Mae Gufferson. They're saying, they're not necessarily saying we don't want you, but they're saying that the writing's on the wall. We kind of have our team. We want to move on. And Candace Parker should play for another championship. I don't know where it may be, but it could be with the Aces again. But we never know. It could be with the Liberty, it could be with the Storm, it could be any team. But I'll tell you this: a player like that does not want to play with a team that is underwhelming. And right now, Indiana is underwhelming. Indiana has the first pick. They're going to be up there soon. As far as the top contending team, they're going to be up there. But it could go deja vu again. We could be saying, hey, Indiana has the number 1 pick. And then again, you'll be looking at the coach and also the GM as well. So, real quick, I want to talk about the NBA 65 rule. I hate it. The 65 game rule sucks. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't suck. No. Let me take that back. What Tyrese Halliburton said last week sucks. Okay? Tyrese Halliburton does not care about the NBA itself. Tyrese Halliburton is one of those guys that wants to sell out every other game. This started 8 years ago with Greg Popovich, where he sent Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker home from Miami game. The Spurs got fined $250K. $250K. They got fined for that. Well, on national TV, that game against Miami was on TNT. And I remember we lost that game. I don't know if it was 2015. It could have been earlier, those years. It could be 2016. It was a long time ago. Pop started with that. And then everybody started to follow suit, to the point where Steve Kerr said, I'm going to do the same damn thing. Steve Kerr said that. Steve Kerr said, I want to sit Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and somebody else. So when Steph Curry scores 50 points in Atlanta, but has to sit against Brooklyn, for that matter, on back-to-back nights, the NBA is going to come down and say, hey, Steve, we're making money here from these fans. We want you to play. But let me take it a step further. Y'all are entitled. Y'all don't care about the fans but yourself. You'd rather collect a $300 million check than some child that some Some parents, they're hard-ass working parents, saved all their checks, saved a bunch of money that have said, we have saved $500 million to get their contract going. To say, we're going to save our money. We will save our money. We will save our money to get to the game. If Luka's playing in Charlotte, we're going to save our money. The tickets may cost $100, right? A team may not have that much to play with. So not a team, but parents, right? Let's talk about low income. I'm not talking about high, rich, all that stuff. If they want to see that passionate player, they will do everything they can. A child has got good grades. A child has challenged him or herself to say, you know what, I want to go see Luka Doncic. I want to go wear his jersey. I want his jersey. And if Luka played against the Warriors, lost to the Warriors, scores 40 points, but yet rests against a worse team in Charlotte, that fan wasted his or her money trying to get their child to the game to watch Luka play. They don't care about the Charlotte Hornets. They don't care about the Charlotte Hornets. They are a fan of Luka Doncic because they know Luka is playing and he's going to make an impact. They care less about the game, period. They care less about the game. They care about the NBA. They care about the players' fans. The player has a fan base that's playing every game. It's a legitimate injury that it is. Joel Embiid is hurt. Yes, he's not sitting out games. I'm looking at guys like Anthony Davis has done an excellent job, which is improving. We got everything handed to us in America. Only America is shining. In other countries, God forbid they don't have this. They don't have players where they can get treated at, or even myself. I go to the I've been doing cryotherapy for the last 2 weeks. I felt good. I feel good. There's cryos everywhere, guys. Everybody in their city is doing cryotherapy. They're doing red light treatment. They're doing a bunch of enhanced treatment. Technology, in this day and age has changed for the better, whether you like it or not. Players have to be invested in being healthy. Players cannot sit around and wait for them to say, and say, we want to be healthy. Players cannot come in and say, we want to sit out. Because 9 times out of 10, you're sitting out for yourself and not for the fans that came and watched you, that sacrificed their money that could have put on other days to come watch you play, to see how much work ethic you put into it. And you're teaching myself and other players, kids, potential coaches a lesson on how to do things. How each player plays. It's not fair that we got to continue to watch. I got to continue, or somebody else has to continue to watch these players sit on the bench in street clothes. It's not fair. It's not fair. I never want to see that. Unless you have a legitimate injury, then yeah, you can sit out. But there's everything handed to y'all. Y'all have everything handed to you. We can go to other places and they have nothing. They have nothing. They gotta lose, they have nothing. We have cryo, we have red light, we have everything. The players gotta be invested in that. The players have to be invested. And I want them to be invested for the future of the NBA. In the NFL too. Because in the NFL, we got guys playing flag football. Now, granted, I can understand, grown-ass athletes, but these athletes make a bunch of money. They make a bunch of money. They make $500 million a year. And we're watching them play flag football. Everybody gets hurt. It's all about you taking care of your body, eating right, cryo, like I said. It's all about you. It's not no trainers. Trainers can give you the blueprint. It's not about. It's also not about what someone else has done surpassed to you. It's all about you. Some players get that, some players don't. They blame the trainer for malpractice. Bradley Beal, he's legitimately hurt. And Bradley Beal can tell you that he's not blaming one trainer. Anthony Davis finally got his shit together. He said, I'm going to spend the offseason getting my body right. And look at the results. He's missed only 3 games. LeBron's 39 years old. I saw LeBron dunk 3 times last night. And still scoring in the high 20s. Still giving a damn about this game. Still treating his body right every single minute of the hour. Then you got Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese, you're going to be a star. I just wish that you care about the game more than you care about what other people say, and you want to sit out. Legends of the NBA are laughing at us. Kobe, God rest his soul, is laughing. Not laughing. Kobe, Michael's laughing at the amount of guys that have sit out games. All these legends are laughing at us because we don't care about the NBA and its product and what it stands for. What's his name? Adam Silver has done everything he can to change it. The 65-game rule makes sense. It makes sense because if this guy played 40 games and wins the MVP, what the hell? Luka plays 79 and has averaged 30 points a game every single game. Even though the Mavericks are losing a lot of games, he's more deserving of an MVP than some guy playing 40 games, which is Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid's legitimately hurt. And I told my friend Malik, I said, Malik, you can go 2 options with this because he's a 76ers fan. He's from that area. You can go with this. You said you can either blame it on the trainers or you can blame it on Embiid for not getting healthy in the summer. I want players to continue to take care of themselves, their bodies. Play your hardest. You can rest in practice. Y'all have the resources given to you. Use them. Utilize them. And for my lesser players, there's a lot of resources for you too. A lot of them as well. A lot of deals. I will honestly tell lesser players. I will tell players that are making ends meet like myself. There's always discounts. There's always discounts. Always. Take advantage of those discounts versus these players don't want to take advantage of anything. I feel like this is an ongoing trend till I guess Adam Silver changes again, and if he does change it again, then you'll see. Then the NBA will be in a better place. But enough of that, guys. All right, so that's the end of my show today. Now, next week, we're going to talk about the trade. I didn't really dive into the trade stuff because I want it to happen. I want to see who's going to get traded first before I initiate what team's going to work out for them. So we're going to talk about that next week. And then if we have any more WNBA news that needs to be talked about, then I'll definitely bring it to y'all between now and next week. I'll definitely bring it out to y'all. And also the Super Bowl. So we're going to dive into the Super Bowl from the start of the game to the end. And then people's reactions. So we're going to do all that next week. We're going to do that next week. So guys, thank you for listening and watching this show. please subscribe to wherever you need to go, or wherever my podcast is. Wherever my podcast is. And I'll see y'all next week. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie again. Sorry, I was done.